Grand Rising. It's Shay Seeking, and welcome back to the channel. So yeah, I'm telling you, just little tidbits of things have been coming and triggering thought um, today. So my granddaughter likes the song "Colors of the Wind," and I don't know what it was. I haven't put it on for her in a while, but today for some reason I put it on. And every time with everything, there's always layers. So, when I put it on today, I had already knew it was pretty deep, from listening to it before. But I just wanted to go over some of the lyrics really quick with you guys because again, we're in the times, you know, um, where decisions are being made about what is going to go on. Um, you know, uh, let's look at this. Okay. So let's think about colonization in a different light, in a modern day way or affair. Okay. Colors and stuff don't matter. So-called races don't matter because again, many times it's people that look like you that were a part of the coup. Okay. So again, it's works. It's the intentions. It's the works of, I don't want to say the man, but of people. The heart. It's the ways. You can never fully know anyone, but again, you should at least test them. Almost like testing the spirits or the spirit. Hey. So anyhow, we're going to go ahead and look over this really quick. And again, I don't know how to flip the camera around and everything like that. So I decided just to go ahead and put this. And then we're going to just go, hold on. We're going to go to the lyrics real quick. Okay. Because I didn't want to, I don't know about all that copyright, whatever, all that stuff. So, okay. So again, just the part about you think I'm an ignorant savage. And you've been so many places, I guess it must be so. But still I cannot see. If the savage one is me, how can there be so much that you don't know? Listen, it's almost just even like, right now, like with the whole, how things are going, or perceivingly going when it comes to the slaughtering of certain people in a certain land that they thought was not theirs, but it really is. So we're coming into a time of remembrance and all of the truths are going to be coming out. Every lie is going to be turned on its head, right? So again, there's so many things that are being brought to, we are doing on our own to do work on self and healing. And then there's other things that are, being done through other energies and forces and then governing forces, right? So just to think that, like we're ignorant savages and we don't deserve, this is what, regardless of how it's going, if they're hoaxes sometimes and things, it's just the whole thing. What I'm trying to say is thinking that we are ignorant of things. Well, again, lack of knowledge is the reason why we were perishing. And now some of us have been called, okay, to bring in the truth. And so that's what we have been doing. So again, we're still lacking some forms of knowledge, but we know who we are and where we come from. Certain of us. Okay. And so, like the colonizers and everything, like, they've been so many places. Again, we're dealing with people that have more advanced technology and information and knowledge than we do. Because again, some of these people are the ones that helped oppress it from us in the first place. Some of these groups. Okay. So she's saying, I'm guessed that it may be so to you, you know, because you think you know, but you don't. um, but what she's saying is, how can there be so much that you don't know? It's kind of like a brutus a brutish mentality to come into a place and just take it over and overturn everything and remove the individuals from nature, which has been nourishing them forever. And it even makes me think about the whole thing about nature, even today, looking at it as if it is what is the word that I want to use? Oh my goodness, this is going to make me upset. Oh, stop. Hold on one second. Okay, as if it was a form of paganistic ways. Okay. Um when again, if you look at it, pagan kind of just really means what was natural before colonization, before manipulation. And so we are placed in the cities, in the ghettos, taken away from nature in its healing, so that others can go and consume the riches, right? Have you, take away your sense of, I'll say sense of pride. Because again, they had to take that first. It had to be with the mind. It wasn't the Bible that did it. They had to defeat you in other ways to bring you to a certain lowly state of consciousness in order to even be able to do any of the things that they did. So it started with, again, us. So that's why I think now in these times, so many people are healing and looking to heal each other. Looking to help share information that can help others heal. It's a time of healing. But there's still a force of something that's hovering over that is not happy about this. Okay? But there's another force that's stronger. So it's almost like there's been a division between nature and the people, and then the people in source. I mean, it's just a strange way that I'm just looking at it here. And it says, what do you, okay, so again, let me see, because I just don't want to get too lost. So you think you own whatever land you land on. Okay, so again, when we're talking about land, we're also talking about soil. We're talking about people. Again, we're talking about women. So again, cleaving onto the wife, in a sense. Leaving the mother and father and cleaving onto the wife. And again, we can look at this in all different ways, or a couple different parallels or ways, but this is just one. Okay? Just even to just claim it, even some of us as chattel or cattle, even, well, I feel as though there's been a freeing of some sorts that has occurred right now. And so that may not be the case. That we're trying to stop from getting back into it. So, and that the earth is just a dead thing you can claim. And that's just letting me think about like the undesirables or Dalit people, or those who are, again, in the the Sheol. Okay. When it comes to society, the construct or the caste system construct that has been set up. So again, those who are still remain in a certain status or in a certain way, they think that they can just claim these particular people and do whatever they want to them, and even mine you for things that are natural to you. Do you get what I'm saying without going too far? But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. So what she's saying is, you saying that you can just claim this. I'm saying everything has a name. Everything is somewhat living in a sense already. She's basically saying, I know them. You don't. But you think just because you say it's mine that it is. And I'm afraid in a way that's what's going on today, you know. A rock, the rock, you know, I'm even thinking like mountains or even mining here. And then trees also could be dual, symbolically representing certain peoples or family trees. Creatures are those that have been created in the breath of life breathed in. Oh, well, even it says it. And creature has a life, okay? Has a spirit and has a name. But then again, I don't see a soul here. Again, maybe it didn't go with the song, but I'm just saying that's what's important. Or it's just something that, again, you think the only people who are the people who look like you, who look and think like you. But if you walk in the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never knew. You never knew. Now, even this is reminding me of, just making me think of just Adam. Or just like the joining of, like how, you know, man should not be alone. I'm gonna make him a helpmeet or whatever, and then, you know, whatnot. So, like, the real work begins when they are joined. But again, under the rule of who? Under the guise of what? And it's almost like, you know, maybe someone having a certain way of looking at life because they come from another caste or class or land, and not knowing exactly how, you know, things work. But then if we really just cut the, you know what, then we'll know that around the world, people were living, you know, a more back to basics, natural life at some point before being colonized. Excuse me. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon, or asked the grinning bobcat why he grins? Now that's deep right there. You know, it's almost like just always having a smile on your face. But you know, the bobcat was really wise. He gave riddles and things like that too. So, and you know, that's just off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it goes a little bit deeper than that. Can you sing with all the voices of the mountains? Right? Okay. The mountains. And again, all the voices of the mountains, have we looked at images of videos before, and we see the faces, we see the souls, we see the different things that are within those, that make up those mountains, are remains to a certain extent. So can you sing with all those voices? No, you can't, because these people, again, would be foreign to this. Now, if you are the earth or offspring of the earth, you know, yes. But again, anything else is going to be foreign when they meet, you know. Goes on to say, can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Also with the wind. And you know, I just noticed outside, it was something kind of magical, because I was sitting out in the yard, and the wind was kind of blowing as I was just sitting and meditating and thinking. And then these little things, I don't know what they're called, but they're like these little seed pod looking little things. It was like, and they're golden looking. And so when the wind picked up and really started to swirl around, it's kind of cool because I came back in and watched the video and noticed how the leaves were blowing around. So it was kind of just like magical in a sense, or but those things started coming down like rain, and I had some in my hair and stuff when I walked back in the house. And it's just like, look, the wind is rustling up now, but it's just something to see some of these things that are actually occurring, in real time. Come run the hidden pine trails of the forest. Again, it's just because I see a lot of us, going back and going into nature. And again, a lot of time I think that we, especially when it comes to women and they want to say like witchcraft and things like that and all these other things and paganism and stuff like that. What they don't realize is that the woman actually needs that. They say, oh, women are tough, or a strong so-called black woman and all this other stuff. That came from, also removing her from nature and removing her from the home and forcing her out into the field is where a lot of problems came. Now, there can still be problems even in the household when the woman is there. But then in tune, the man has been taken out and doing things that he doesn't really, most times, I'm not saying everybody, I'm just saying in most general common society, that they're taken out of the home and they have to work hard and they have to answer to somebody else, and they can't be a man and they can't make decisions about what they're doing and how, they're able to earn their own money and be secure in knowing that, because they've gone out into corporate, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, and I'm not saying I'm just saying we're just looking at all of this. And so the pressures and the stress of all of that, not being able to be a man, answering to another man or a woman or someone, and dealing with the stressors, instead of being on the farm with the whole family, generation after generation, working together in order to build, and dealing with bartering and trading with neighbors in the community and, things like that. Okay. So it's still the pressures of that us also causes a separation as well. That can cause a problem with, how things are going accordingly, with the stressors of the outside world following them home at the end of the day and having to support and worry, and things like that. So I don't know. This is what all is saying to me. This is what it's just saying to me when I'm reading it. I apologize if you guys don't get what I'm saying. But it's saying, she's saying, come run the hidden pine trails of the forest. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth. Come roll in all the riches all around you. And at that time in the video, they're on the ground, rolling around on the ground. Just saying. And actually, just paying attention to like the things that we see with our eyes. Actually, even when she was laying there saying that, you can tell that the image that was picked up in the movie, her skin was a lot darker. Like the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. When she was laying there next to him. So with the contrast of the copper skin, you see, well, that's coming up next, but I'm just saying the contrast, her skin was so much darker right there. And how some of the choicest pearls and choicest trees and the most fragrant, mountains and things, a lot of times too, these hills and stuff like that, we're referring to the feminine aspect or the divine feminine aspect. So rolling in all the riches around you. Because again, at one point, a man's, going to be worth more than gold. And again, the woman has already been that way because she's been born to breed in ways that we don't even, some other ways that we don't even really comprehend just yet. To be the main resource, and as long as you can keep her in a certain state of mind, then it's easier to do so. Once you start to realize that the earth is being defiled, then it's not so easy anymore. And so that's why it could be a problem where, there could become a time of a replacement. So there must be a time when women in general, or just people in general, or just everybody, is going to have to stand for something, to protect something. And for once, never wonder what they're worth. Okay? So again, when we think of this thing of slavery and or servitude, we'll use that term, and choices, servants, checking them out to see how they look and things like this, poking and prodding. Even right now, we're on certain platforms, okay? And again, our women, everybody, whatever, this is nothing against anyone, but because we all do it. We're putting ourselves out there, even on the market in a certain sense, as we really don't realize, especially even with our daughters and things like that. And so again, while we're fighting for something, it's easy, again, especially, I'm just speaking for myself, having daughters, it's easy to kind of be so strung out on something where you're trying to make a change, or you know what I'm saying, come up with some way to be a part of, even if it's just with your voice. Opening up doors and things for people to realize and recognize. It's just like we can sometimes, not realize things, especially within the past year or two, that may be going on with the children. And so again, it's almost like sometimes I feel like we're just trying to fight for something and do something so that then we can kind of breathe, and it's I don't know. So again, but it's almost like to see what somebody is worth, or outer appearance, and what this is, it's makes someone worthy to the world again. And I don't feel I feel like all of this stuff is being broken down right now, that this is changing. But being out, putting themselves, young women putting themselves out there, older women, just women in general, putting themselves out there like that, in a certain way, and not realizing that they may be targeted in a sense, in ways that run deeper than just trafficking. So again, not wondering what they're worth, or just even what is somebody's worth when it comes to whatever worth we're talking about. If we're talking about financially, or just spiritual, or wisdom, or, this is what I'm thinking, because those things are irreplaceable. Some things that some of us have to offer today, women and men, all of us, some of those valuable things that we honor and cherish, and that are instilled in us, that we're awakening and starting to realize are worth more than anything on this plane. So how about we just love them and nurture them and each other and, feed and fuel each other back to health, naturally, you know, as much as possible, because I know we're going towards something that we may not be able to stop, but I'm just saying. So again, without wondering what they're worth, is it worth saving this person, or is it worth putting my time in? The rainstorm and the rivers are my brothers. See, now this is kind of deep to me right here. Because she didn't only just say, these are my cousins. She said, these are my brothers. And when we're talking about just like even the wind I feel outside rumbling right now, the rivers, the rainstorm, you ever heard anybody say when you were younger that, oh, why is it raining and thundering? Matter of fact, I haven't heard of a thunderstorm in a while. Now I'm thinking about it, but or like a real thunderstorm in my area. It almost making me think of like heavenly bodies in a sense, or those who have passed on. And again, it's almost like a reminder that we are one with nature. And at some point in time, it makes me feel like even now, the summer, it feels like it's about to be hot and humid and just a different type of weather this summer. And is that what we're about to be dealing with here? The floods, the raging floods that we had within the past couple of years. Okay, because again, maybe those in a spiritual, symbolic way, or in just a spiritual way, are preparing us or letting us know or warning us, especially as the women, that we need to do something because something is moving in or gaining. The heron and the otter are my friends. So this is also just saying, like, fowl of the air, or in a sense, and then that are in the river, not actually in the ocean, but in the rivers and lakes, actually. And we are all connected to each other in a circle, in a hoop that never ends. And there's something that this image of this circle keeps popping up to me lately. I've recognized it in a couple of things that I've run across, where it's kind of like a frequency kind of thing or whatever. But there's this circle. And I don't know. I think I even fell asleep one night with something talking about some kind of frequency, and they were using that symbol, saying that it was like an ancient symbol. But now this part here, how high does the sycamore grow? If you cut it down, then you'll never know. And so again, when we're talking about the mother, like in the video I did earlier, when you talk about the mother of all, or the tree of life, or anything of this nature, and it's almost like, if you cut it down, and we've been cut down once, and I think that this time is just a time for truth, and I just think that can't happen again. It will be, that's it for us. That's it for us if we don't realize now, especially when it comes to our women that are actually doing their thing and using their power, and using, and standing in their power, and trying to change things, and trying to, do better. Some of them alone, with no one to help them to take care of their children. I complain sometimes, but I'm just saying, like, there's no superhero like a single mother. And I think that a lot of men can attest to that as well. So again, if we look at Mother Nature and Mother Earth and women right now that are going back to natural ways and doing certain things, how does that make you feel if you know that something is a brewing that may be wanting to harm that? And so we're trying to grow now. We are the life givers. And Again, every way it seems like, someone is trying to chop you down or expose or do something to tear you down. And our own people sometimes sit around and think that it is okay or it is cool. Of course, we all have things that we have to face and challenges and things like that, but that should never define the whole, because we don't ever know the whole side. And so that should not define the whole thing aspect of it. And some of the energy that's here that has us going against each other is that energy. That is the same energy of those people that, just saying. Because again, we did this on our own. We started this whole thing we didn't ask anybody. We just went in with the information. So again, there's a time when this has been done over and over and over again. Is this going to be a time where they may even use our own to do the same thing? But I know that there's some of our own that are not looking to do that same thing. And we are being sheltered and protected right now. Okay? And it says, and you'll never hear the wolf. And you'll never hear the wolf cry. You hear what I'm saying? Boy, this made me think about wolves. Because again, that would be something that it's almost reminding me of like, my sheep hear my voice. You dig what I'm saying? And it even made me think about that video that I did on the wolves that were slaughtered not too long ago. I think it was in Wisconsin, maybe in Illinois, possibly. That was really upsetting. And at that same time, I had a pack of wolves or coyotes, which would be different, come through my backyard. And I don't know, it was just a beautiful thing. So anyways, for whether we are white or copper skinned, we need to sing with all the voices of the mountains. You hear me? Paramount. These mountains, when people pass or go in the Bible, he says, go into the mountains with your fathers or things like that. I mean, it doesn't really necessarily every time say go die, but it says go into the mountains. Wow. And I've seen things, just canvassing over with Antarctica that were very, I think I did videos on it, if not, and just different places where we see these things. So again, this is almost like using so-called white or copper skin in order to sing the same tune, you see, that's coming from the mountains, because no matter who was here first, all of these bones, these dry bones, or all of these bones are mixed up, and most of them were used by other entities in foreign. See, I'm just thinking about how they said that these people, the first Christians came over here, they were running away from persecution, but again, it followed them anyway. And then it found a way to get its tentacles back into those people and then back into society and plant those seeds. And that arm it doesn't belong here. For a certain time, it wasn't allowed here, or it wasn't here. And at this time, I feel like it's up to us to realize with all the information what it is. Something don't belong here. And it doesn't actually have to do with a skin tone or so-called race in my eyes. Principalities and rulers. And again, it's still foreign to us, even though we hear about it and that it has its tentacles. There's not a major, again, in my eyes, just being who I am growing up, how we did, where we were. That wasn't a heavy part of, we had the church. You had the church. You know what I'm saying? It didn't go no further really than that for us. But again, what is the real whore of Babylon? So they'll put the face on certain beings, nature, earth, see, but really it's what's done in the dark in some of these temples that were built with man's hands. Even vessels. And the ones, built with stones. We need to paint with all the colors of the wind. And again, too, I mean, we can look at that in different ways, but colors of the wind. And it shows like leaves that are like ruddy and brown and tan skin, from fall, like the colors of fall. See, you see that? in the video is what it shows. Because again, that's another way of expression of how nature communes with us. And if you're in the house all the time and you're not stopping to observe those things, then you can own the earth and still all you'll own is the earth until you can paint with all the colors of the wind. You know what? See, it's like, get a whiff of that. Get a whiff of that. It's always been about division and using different types of division to get the people to war against each other for religions or materials, manufacture. It's always been that way. That's why I'm so happy to see a lot more entrepreneurship going on. And, it would be nice to just see a lot more courses and stuff on things like that are easily available and readily available for the communities. And even just for me, it's hard to organize and prioritize my time between the children and things like that. But they're getting older and leaving. And so now's my time to find that actual purpose and, yeah, along with all of these other beautiful blessings that are being bestowed upon me at this time. And some of the challenges as well. So, and a lot of changes. So, anyhow, I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it didn't take too long and we got something out of it. And don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. And join us in the Facebook group, American Aborigines Unchained. And let me know if you guys like this type of video. Because there's many songs that I would like to go ahead and look into. And break, I know people do it in a different way or whatever. But we're just trying to look we're looking at the fabric. How it was woven together. So anyways, I'll see you guys soon. Take care.